Lesson 14B, we are going on to adding and subtracting rational numbers, continuing on with fractions. Yesterday we learned multiplying and dividing fractions, so today we're finding sum and difference. I'm going to stick with the easier fractions for now with just common denominators, and then practice stating the problems and the answers correctly. Number 1 is a 6th grade problem. I just wanted to review really quickly the structure of what we're learning. 3/5 plus 4/5. I want you to please write it as 3 plus 4 all over 5. And I know it's already on your notes, so put a box around this and write, do not skip this step.
So if we don't do that on homework, it'll get wrong?
Do not skip this step. I want you to do this for every adding and subtracting fractions problem. Do not skip this step. I know it looks like it's pointless right now because these are both positive numbers. It's a 6th grade problem. But you'll see why in just a second. This would be 7/5, which converts to a mixed number of 1 and 2/5. So I conclude that the sum, since this is an addition problem, is 1 and 2/5. Number 2, again, writing the numerators together. Please do not skip this step. 7 minus 3 all over 8. All over. That's how you would read that, so that I know that you just have a single 8 on the bottom and you didn't subtract it or get rid of it. And then this is obviously 4/8, which reduces to 1/2. This is a difference of 1/2. Number 3 is officially your first time adding, subtracting fractions with negatives.
Yay.
So I would like you to write this as a combined numerator. So this will be 5 plus -7 or 5 minus 7 all over 9. And then looking at those top numbers, comparing them, which one has more, positives or negatives? Negatives win the war, right? How many survive? 2. So this will be -2/9. The sum, because the original problem has a plus sign, is -2/9. Number 4, again, rewrite the numerator. What would it sound like if you were to read that to me? Renee, what would the next step look like? All over 12. Good. 3 minus 11 all over 12. And then comparing those top numbers, which one has more? Positives or negatives? Negative. So you know your answer is going to be negative. How many more? -8. Can I leave it like this? This would be marked incorrect because you're not finished with the problem. Simplify it, reduce by 4, and your difference will be -2/3. Yes, you can have the negative sign in front of the fraction. That is the same thing. In fact, you can even have it on the bottom because -2 divided by 3 is -2/3. 2 divided by -3 is -2/3. And in having negative fraction, 2/3 is all the same thing. Okay, as long as there's only one negative sign. Number 5. Rewrite it. So we have, again, this floating negative sign in the front. I recommend you rewriting this so that it's on the top, so it's not so confusing looking. And then combining those to be -2 plus 5 all over 7. Then what's -2 plus 5?
3.
+3 and then 7ths. Make sense? All right. Number 6. If we have a negative and a negative together like this, subtracting a negative, how do I rewrite that problem, Beth? Which is, good, so this is 8/12 plus 7/12. And then what's the step I asked you not to skip? What does that look like? 8 plus 7. Very good. All over 12. And then what's 8 plus 7? 15 over 12. Am I done?
No, 7.
Okay, they both reduce down to divide by 3. Or you can just divide right away. I'm going to divide right away. 12 goes into 15 once. 3/12. Am I done yet? Okay, 1 and 1/4. Very nice. Questions so far? All right, good. All right. Mixed numbers, which is on the back of your paper. If I have mixed numbers, the first thing you need to do is make them both improper. So this would be 2 times 8 plus 3 is 19 over 8. 4 times 8 plus 7, this would be 39 over 8. 19 plus 39 all over 8 would be 58 over 8, which reduces down and simplifies to 7 and 1/4. This is my example. Here's another example. The steps are to convert to improper, simplify it, which is add or subtract, then reduce, then change it back to improper. Okay? Again, those steps are convert, simplify, reduce, then convert back. Why do you have to do it this way? Because if you do it the borrowing way, if you want to split it as deal with the whole numbers and then deal with the fractions separately, it's going to get kind of crazy. You have to remember to borrow and borrow correctly and do everything in the right order. And then borrowing doesn't work with negative numbers. That only works for positive fractions. So if you change it to improper, you don't have to worry about messing up. You just keep it simple, keep it neat, reduce and convert. Okay, so please do it this way. So look at number 1. These are both positive, so it's not a big deal. But please practice doing this with me. Change it to improper. Rewrite it as a combined numerator. 17 plus 25 all over 6. What's 17 plus 25? 42 divided by 6 happens to be a whole number. Just 7. So the sum, since it's an addition problem, is 7. Or mixed number. Well, proper, this is proper. Okay, number 2 is a subtraction problem. Again, make it improper, simplify, and then reduce and convert back. You go ahead and finish that one. Change to improper would be 36 over 5 and then minus 19 over 5. 36 minus 19 all over 5 would be 17 over 5, which is 3 2/5. Excellent job, everyone. Number 3. I want to show you what you can do to make sure your answer makes sense. So I like to do this in my head. I ignore these fractions, and then this is a 0 here, right? What's 9 minus 0? 9. So your answer is going to be about 9, about positive 9. So if you got something like negative 3 or like 15, you did something wrong. It should be about positive 9. So go ahead and make it improper. Simplify, reduce, change back to improper, and see if you get something that's about positive 9. I'm going to convert to improper. 37 over 4 minus 3/4, that's 37 minus 3 all over 4, which is 34 over 4, which is 17 over 2, which is 8 1/2. Okay. Number 4, this is important. This is a very good example of when you guys try to do your own thing and try to use your 6th grade skills on a 7th grade problem, you will get it wrong. For example, here, if you cover, first of all, let's estimate our answer. If I cover these fractions, what's negative 2 plus 3? 1. Positive 1, right? Your answer should be about positive 1. If you got a negative answer, you did something wrong. If you got a big old different answer, obviously that would be wrong. Now, a lot of you would also try to do this yourself and get an answer. You know what? Go ahead and do it. I'm going to see who does what I say and who tries to do it their own way. some of you are trying to use your 6th grade minds and do this. You did negative 2 plus 3 is 1. You did this part and this part, you got 1. Right? And then you do this part and you got this part and you got 8 over 8. And you're like, okay, my answer is 2. That is not okay. Let me tell you why. Shh. You subtracted the whole numbers but added the fractions. That's like saying if I have 12 plus 15, you're like, okay, I'm going to add these two, but I'm going to just subtract these two. It's like making up your own rules. That you cannot do half one way and half the other way. That doesn't make any sense. This is what some of you are doing on this problem. You have to do what I said. Change to improper, simplify, change back to improper, because otherwise you're dealing with mixed fractions. You cannot borrow in mixed fractions that have negative numbers. It doesn't work. All right, so let's hear some answers. The sum, you're right, it's an addition problem.
Sum is
1/4, what did you get?
I ascertained that the sum is 1/4 as well.
What did you get? 1/4, 1/4, 1/4, 1/4. Very good. You are all correct. This is 1/4. If you got 2, you're doing something, you're making up your own rules there, which is a very common answer. A lot of people today in all my other classes got 2 because they decided not to do what I said and thought they can do a shortcut and just do whole numbers and fractions separately. Does not work with negatives, okay? Try number 5. Making them improper. We have 7/4 minus 13/4, which is 7 minus 13 all over 4. This gives us a negative 6/4, which is negative 1 1/2. Do the last one, please. Let's estimate. If I cover these fractions, negative 1 plus 3 is going to be positive 2. So I know my answer should be positive 2-ish. Right? If you got negative, your answer is wrong. If you got something bigger than 3, your answer is wrong. Because you're taking away. Negative 2 plus 3 is going to be positive 2-ish because of the fractions. So let's see. This is negative 16 plus 31 all over 9, which is 15 over 9, which gives me positive 1 2/3. If you got negative, you did it wrong. If you look at the problem from the beginning, positives have more to start with. Your answer is going to be positive if you're taking something away, right? All right, number 1s. What did you learn today? Ready? Share.